It is the last Christmas Palooza podcast
of 2021.
Yes, how do you feel?
I'm so happy we're finally done these, and there may be some bonus videos on the way. We'll have to see, but
okay.
Pretty sure the next podcast we're mainly going to do is the end of the year podcast, but we'll see if we can get a couple bonus views in. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, guys, welcome back to the Charming Analysis podcast and the last Christmas Palooza main podcast of 2021. Today, we're going to be reviewing two different Christmas movies. We're going to be reviewing Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas and the motion capture Christmas Carol that Disney made. So which one do you want to start with first, honey?
I guess we'll start with the motion capture one first, since that's the first one we saw.
All right. And why don't you explain the plot of it?
It's a Christmas Carol.
Okay.
it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, so it's the traditional Christmas Carol story.
Yes,
so
it's literally the book. It's literally the book.
Okay, so I guess what was your favorite? What do you like? What did you think of the Christmas Carol that they did with the motion capture?
It's scary.
You got to do more than that. Come on.
Scary, and I like it because it's terrifying.
It does a lot more to scare people, honestly, which I'm surprised at. Like, it's one of those movies I don't really like looking back on.
Do you? Is this one of those movies that you don't like?
Well,
out of all the movies I've shown you that you just didn't like when you were growing up, I guess.
I'm sorry.
Because you only watched it one time?
I watched it a couple times when I was younger.
Good.
I wasn't that big on it back then, but
and you're not big on it now.
It's decent, but it's one of those like Christmas movies that I didn't really like as a kid because it scared me a lot. But
it did too. That's why I liked it.
But I will say this though, I do appreciate the way they do motion capture in this. It's one of the only companies, like it's only one of the only motion captures that they did around.
They did Polar Express.
They did Polar Express and Happy Feet.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure Happy Feet was motion capture.
I don't think it was the same company.
I don't think it was. Yeah, it wasn't the same company, but it did motion capture. So it's one of the only ones Disney did that was motion capture. And out of the two that they did, which was this one and Mars Meets Moms, this one was the better one.
No one liked Mars Meets Moms.
And that's why the company went out of business. And they don't do motion capture anymore. Yeah. Anyway, I guess what's something you like and dislike about, like, this version of the Christmas Carol, in your opinion?
I don't know. This is the only version of the Christmas Carol I've seen.
There's a couple other versions.
I know. I'm well aware of how many versions there are. Besides the Mickey Mouse one, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the only one I've ever seen. But other than that, no, I've never seen any of the other. I've never seen. I guess the most recognizable one is the Muppets. Never seen the Muppets Christmas Carol.
I've seen parts of it.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing, but I've seen parts of it.
I like how, I guess the most thing I like about it is how, like, terrifying it is, I guess. And I guess just, that's also a thing I kind of like, you know. It's word for word the book. If you don't like every word for word of the book, then you're probably gonna find this movie very boring. Just saying.
My goodness.
That's pretty much my opinion. And also if you just don't like motion capture Robert Zemeckis, if you don't like what he did in the Polar Express, then you're probably not gonna like it here.
Pretty much. That's pretty much the gist of it. So. Okay.
If you don't like A Christmas Carol and you don't like motion capture, then
this is not for you.
That's not what this movie really is for, is it?
Yeah. So I guess another thing I do want to ask is that, do you feel like this one's accurate to the story, or do you feel like
it's word from the book? Amari.
I think it's probably the most accurate they've ever done it. From what I can.
There's more accurate tales. Every Christmas Carol is an accurate version of the old thing. It's just depending on how comedic they take it.
And how they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess another thing I do want to ask.
The other one, the Smurfs Christmas special.
Yeah, the Smurfs one was
Smurfs
nice.
Christmas Carol. That one was actually better. I like that actually better than the Disney one.
Yeah, the Smurfs one was pretty good though.
Not this Disney. I mean, like the Mickey Mouse one.
I know that.
I like it better than that. But
yeah.
It's been a while since we've seen it.
But yeah, I guess what else do you want to say about the Christmas Carol? Because this is one of those movies that
I don't know, you were asleep for like half of it.
I wasn't trying to. It's not my favorite of the versions of the movie. Like, I kept trying not to fall asleep.
What other versions have you seen?
I've seen the Looney Tunes Christmas Carol, which is personally one of my favorites.
Uh-huh.
I've seen the Smurfs one. I've seen the Mickey Mouse one with you. I've seen the My Little Pony version of the Christmas Carol, which is like an episode, but you get what I mean. I think Care Bears may have done a Christmas special. I don't remember.
Was it Christmas Carol?
I don't remember.
Then you can't say then.
But there's like a couple different, but those are like the main ones I can remember, and I've seen parts of the Muppets one. So it's one of those things to where they do different versions. Personally, my favorite version of the Christmas Carol is the Looney Tunes one.
Personally, my favorite of the Christmas Carol is of capitalism marketing ever in Christmas is It's a Wonderful Life. But apparently, you find that movie so boring.
It was so boring. I'm sorry. I did not like it.
I don't understand.
It didn't even remind me of a Christmas movie. It literally was Christmas during like the last half of it, and I was so bored. Like,
how dare you?
I'm sorry.
Insulted.
Anyway, let's get back to the podcast. So,
that's true though. That is actually true. There's no Christmas until the third
then
third
it's not
act
considered
of
a Christmas movie until it's like at least it has to be Christmas throughout the whole movie. That's what criteria for me makes it a Christmas movie.
If the message is about Christmas, then that isn't a Christmas movie to me. If the message takes place around Christmas, then that's why it's called It's a Wonderful Life, Mari. It's literally about a man's life until like Christmas.
I get it. Anyway,
but this is about a man like, living through life with greed and then learning Christmas.
So, what did you think of Jim Carrey being Scrooge?
I don't know. You have more business with Jim Carrey. I just thought I don't know the Jim Carreyism, so
I think he did a good job with it. You can tell it's Jim Carrey, like, by the way he does his expressions, because Jim Carrey's known for doing, like, really expressive, like, emotions. Mm-hmm. He's, like, really good at doing what he does. And that's something I admire about him. I like how he does, like, his acting. I think he does great in a lot of the roles I've seen him in. Mm-hmm. So, it's one of those things to where I'm glad that he's actually, doing something like this. Because I think it's interesting. But other than that, I don't really have much to say about this movie. Like, it's decent. Like, the motion capture in this is a lot better than Mars Meets Moms. I'm always going to say that. Because Mars Meets Moms fucking sucks.
What is the best live-action motion capture movie?
I don't know. This is
I don't know.
One of the better ones.
Was it Happy Feet or was it something else? Because I don't know. I feel like I should give it to something a lot better than that.
I don't know, but I have to look.
Last one made. Was it Mars Meets Moms? No, actually, Monster House is probably the best one ever made. Even though that animation is probably the animation is really dated, but
yeah,
I don't
but
care.
Still,
don't care.
But yeah, it's one of those like movies that it does it pretty well, but. Mars Meets Moms is literally the reason why Disney doesn't do motion capture anymore. That's literally the fucking reason.
And it's expensive.
And that too.
Those motion capture suits must not be cheap.
Yeah, they're probably not. Anyway, so I guess, do you want to just give our rating and then go on to the next one? Or do you have any more to say about it?
It is a book by book number, and it's a Christmas horror, not horror, but like more
leaning toward horror.
Leaning toward thriller, I would say.
Yeah.
Supernatural thriller horror movie. And I don't know how you're gonna like it, because it's just literally a Christmas Carol, but with Jim Carrey. Take of that as you will. I don't know if I could give it a rating, though, because I don't know.
Well, you have to give it a rating. That's what we do.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I were to give it a rating, I grew up with this movie, and the more I look back on it, the more it's just like kind of favors it, because I just discovered much better Christmas movies to watch.
Same.
So, yeah, in terms of that, I'll probably give it like, I don't know, like I guess it's always gonna be in the back of my head somewhere. Not favorably, but it's probably gonna be in the back of my head. Probably
Well,
I'm gonna say 5.5 out of 10.
you say 5.5.
I can't give it a 5, can't give it a 6.
So you're kind of in between. So you're basically indifferent about it.
Yes, basically.
I pretty much am with you on that. I'll give it a 5.5 as well, mainly because I'm indifferent about it. It's one of those Christmas specials I don't really like lean toward or gravitate toward. I feel like there's a lot of better ones out there. Like accuracy, I give a good rating if it's for accuracy. But if you're doing it based on like a bunch of other factors, I'm just still going to give it a 5.5. Like, it's one of those ones where I like better ones than this one.
You've never seen better ones than this one.
Yes, I have.
Huh?
Yes. But yeah, anyway, so let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So the next movie we watched was actually one I used to watch as a kid. Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. So I'll give the synopsis for it. Basically, it's about...
It's an anthology.
It's a Christmas anthology that Disney made regarding their main characters, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, and his son Max. And Huey, Dewey, and Louie. So the first story is basically about Huey, Dewey, and Louie wishing that Christmas was an everyday thing. And it's basically them enjoying it and then realizing it sucks after, and then learning from it is basically the gist of it. That's like the main focus of it. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to talk about each part of it as a thing, as its own separate thing. So what did you think of the first one for Mickey's Once? What did you think of Donald and Daisy's story?
It was decent.
Okay.
Like, compared to the other two, I think it's decent.
All right.
Because I think the other two are
better,
way better than the first part of it.
I feel like the first one's mainly for like the little kids in life.
Yes.
Compared to, because I was the one I related to more as a kid, but then like, but like as I got older and
I don't want to be Christmas every day. Fuck.
That was me as a kid. Like I wished it was, but
no, not for me.
But nowadays, since I'm a lot older and stuff, I consider Mickey's short like the most accurate, but we can talk about that in a minute. So yeah, this is basically an anthology. So I guess, what did you like and dislike about Donald and Daisy's story? I guess we'll start with that.
I don't really dislike anything in the short. I just find one short more. I just find two shorts better than the other one. Like,
is there like a reason why?
Relatability.
That too. I feel like the first one's for more the kids at heart, or like when, like that feeling when you're younger of like wanting it to be Christmas every day kind of thing. So I feel like it's a more kid friendly story. So I feel like kids are going to really relate to it more than other people. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so I guess we're also going to rate each individual short, and then we'll rate the whole thing overall, since this is basically an anthology. Mm-hmm. So I guess one thing the last question I'll ask is before we rate this specific short or part of the anthology, do you feel like they could have done anything differently with it? What would they have done differently to make you like it, I guess? What's something that they should have done differently? Well, Jay.
I don't know. My mind is blank right now. I can't think of anything.
I feel like they could have made the lesson a little bit, like, better explained, I guess. Because the only way they realized the lesson was basically fucking everything up. So I feel like
they were bored.
I understand that, but them being bored made everybody hurt in the end.
Yeah.
So I think it was one of those things to where the resolution to it is basically them making it good again, and then the Christmas curse, I guess, is like back to normal kind of thing. I'm just going to call it a Christmas curse in quotes.
A Christmas curse.
Because that's basically what it is.
It's been done before.
But I feel like in this one, it's a lot... I feel like it's just something kids can relate to. The relatability when it comes to, like, older people, I feel like it doesn't really show much for, like, older people. So... But yeah, other than that, it's, like, a decent one. It's... I'm, like, kind of in the middle about it compared to, like, the other two. So I guess, what do you give Daisy and Donald's, like, part of the anthology? What do you give that rating out of 10?
Decent 6 out of 10.
You give it a 6 out of 10?
I don't know why I consider 6 decent and, like, instead of, like, giving it a 5 or a 4. That should be a decent score, but unfortunately,
I think it depends.
6 is always going to be the decent number.
I think normally decent to me is, like, between 6 and 7.
No, that should be, like,
Wait, like,
good.
5 and 6.
No, that should be, like, good or something like that. But I don't know why. People consider, like, decent. It's weird. I don't know. It's all weird.
Anyway.
Nobody knows what the rating system is anymore. It's like, if we give something, like, a 4, everybody thinks we're going to hate it. So, it's like, what's going on?
Well, like, definitely next year for the podcast, we'll probably go into, I guess, our rating system a little bit more in depth, because I feel like we should. So that way people can understand it a little bit better. What are you doing, honey?
I'm just leave me alone.
Okay. So you give that one a 6 out of 10?
Yes.
I give it a 6 as well. Pretty much. Like, it's decent. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is the next one that's in the thing or whatever, is we're going to talk about the Goofy and Max one.
Goofy and Max?
Special that they did that's in the thing.
Yeah.
So, basically in that one, it's about Max in his, like, believing in Santa Claus kind of thing. It's basically the story of, like, how he learns about Santa Claus, wants to, like, believe in him, finds out that he's not real, big spoiler, and just stuff like that.
Big spoiler. Yeah, it's like that's a spoiler in life.
Well, for kids, it's a spoiler, okay?
Is it really?
Well, like, for little kids, like, you want to keep the magic there.
Little kid's gonna watch our podcast and say...
I know that, because our podcast really isn't for quote-unquote kids. It's more for, like...
It's for people who are bored.
It's mainly for, like, teen young adult.
For babies who can't open up their eyes.
No. Jay, stop that. Anyway, so what did you think of not the Mickey and Minnie one yet, the Goofy and Max one? What did you think of it?
It kind of hit me a little bit like Arthur Christmas. Not as much, because
but it's got
you
the
can't
feel
top
of it.
out Arthur Christmas for me. But it has the same, like, around feel like Arthur Christmas does. And honestly, like, I don't know. It's just, I have sympathy for those stories, man. I love like the belief story in Santa Claus, because I think you can do so much with it, and having it done with Goofy and Max, I think it's just, it's just it's cute. It's cute to me.
It is.
I like it.
I think it's cute as well. It's one of those specials where it's like, it makes you feel more nostalgic about it and stuff, and I'm happy that they actually do something with it compared to, like, other, like, shorts. I feel like this one's it hits more to home. Like, I feel like it's more adult. Like, you relate to it more than, like, the Huey, Dewey, and Louie one. I feel like it's, like...
Not as much as the third one, but okay.
I feel like it's, like, little kid, like, adolescent / early teen to, like, adult in, like, the last one. I feel like that's kind of how it goes, but that's just me. Mm-hmm. So, I guess what else do you like about the thing. Because to me, I actually like the Goofy and Max one. It reminds me of, like, my childhood a lot more than the Huey, Dewey, and Louie one.
Does it?
Like, I feel like it has more relatability, and I honestly just love Goofy and his son's relationship. I think it's, like, a fucking great, like, movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it really, like, relates to single parents basically trying to, like, teach kids how, you know, how to make people, like, feel better, like, during the holidays, because Goofy's basically helping, like, a family in need. And that's a good thing to show kids, because you got to have compassion in the world, especially at a young age. So that way when you're an adult, you learn how to appreciate stuff more in life. And I think it's a good thing that they did that in this.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess another thing I do want to ask, one more thing I'll ask, and then
All right.
we'll rate it. So do you feel like this one has more relatability or the Mickey and Minnie one, in your opinion?
So fuck, I'm making a mini one with the. That's if you're going through like
Financial stuff.
The Mickey and Minnie is something that's gonna speak to an adult. The Goofy one is gonna speak to someone
like,
if they
like
have
adolescent
a
to
kid.
teen, or like a person with like a single parent like household. Because I kind of related a little bit to the Goofy and Max one a little bit, not much, but a little bit. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those ones to where I feel like people with like single parents can kind of relate to it more than like other people. So yeah, what do you give the Goofy and Max one out of 10?
Goofy and Max, I probably give it a 7 out of 10.
You give it a 7 out of 10?
Yes.
Okay, would you watch it again?
Yeah, definitely. I watched this whole fucking special again. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
It's really
I would
nice.
too.
I understand why you watched it as a kid.
Yeah, I loved this Christmas special, like, as a kid. Like, this Christmas anthology was honestly really fucking good.
Yes.
And it still holds up, in my opinion, to this day. Like, I still feel like it holds up. All right, so the last one we're going to talk about regarding this anthology is the Mickey and Minnie one. So, basically, I feel like every adult is going to fucking relate to this. So, basically, the Mickey and Minnie one is about the two of them trying to make money because they're struggling adults and they're trying to get each other a gift for Christmas while trying to be able to get, like, figure out how to explain shit. Basically figuring out how to please the other one and stuff. Because Minnie basically has a watch and Mickey wants to get her, like, a little, like, necklace to put the watch on. While Mickey has a harmonica and she wants to get a case for his harmonica. So, it's basically about that and how no matter what you get the other person, as long as it's in the heart, that's what matters. In my opinion. So, what did you think of the Mickey and Minnie one?
I know you related to it.
Yeah, I did. But I need your opinion first.
I think that it is a really cute special that makes me realize that they have not done shit with Mickey in a while. And maybe that's why, maybe because he does not leave that much an impression, probably. And he can't really hold much of his own for 90 minutes. I don't know. I mean, maybe if he went on like maybe if he did something like with the Three Musketeers or something like that,
people would probably like Mickey a lot more.
Probably, but like maybe. But I think
we still have to see like the newer Mickey shorts to kind of compare it, but like, I like this version of Mickey.
But those are more like comedy based. I'm talking about like Mickey
relatability
as like the image that they put on over the years. He's a mouse with magic, for God's sake. You can do something with it.
Yeah, and it's something that I feel like they need to do more with.
Yeah.
Which is sad because they haven't done that.
But in terms of this, I think it was like a nice 13-minute short. Like, what Mickey and Minnie, like, trying to get a gift for each other. That's relatable,
Yeah, especially, like, in today's society, like, for adults, and especially in today's society where there's a lot of, and I feel like, in my opinion, there's a lot of young adults that are basically, like, struggling to make a fucking decent living. And it's sad that, like, the economy that a lot of people grew up in, where it was kind of easier, well, not really easier, but, like, more accessible to get, like, resources, like, example, housing, you know, gifts for people, like, food, stuff like that. I feel like back then it was a lot easier in a sense. Not really easier. I can't think of a better word. But I feel like...
Now, the economy was not as
bad.
high-priced as it is today.
Yeah, like, literally, like, gas prices are fucking skyrocketing. Like, literally I have to pay, like, $40 fucking for a whole tank of gas. And it's like, why? I feel like it's just hard for people to, like, live their daily lives nowadays, especially with how bad the economy is. And it's one of those things to where...
COVID hit us really
and
bad.
COVID hit people really bad, so that also does not help. But hopefully, whenever COVID, I guess, calms down, or if it ever is going to calm down, or at least if we adapt to what's going on, I'm hoping it'll get a lot better for people. Especially, like, young adults like you and me who are still trying to, like... are struggling in a sense. Not like, we're not like that far off, but like, we could do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people who live paycheck to paycheck know exactly how hard it is.
Yeah. And like, me and Jay have decent living. It's just like, we could do a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it's something I eventually would like to, you know, strive for. It's something I strive for. And hoping we eventually get to that point, you know, honey? Mm-hmm. Sorry, I got a little bit in my head there.
No, you're fine.
Anyway,
you did get a little bit in your head, let me tell you.
Yeah, but this is one you kind of get in your head, especially with the message that it has. Mm-hmm. Like, and the relatability on this one's a fucking 10. Like, they're fucking serious about all of it. But, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess another thing I do want to ask is, what did you think... okay, so, like... Is this one your favorite of the 3 we've watched?
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one. Like, this one I feel like is one of the best ones that they did. This one's the best one. The Goofy one's the second, and the Huey, Dewey, and Lou one's, like, the third. Mm-hmm. So, I guess one more thing I want to ask is... Do you feel like the relatability of this helps the story, or do you feel like it hinders it?
Why would a relatability hinder a story?
Do you feel like that's all they just focused on, or do you feel like they could have, like, focused on that and some other stuff?
No, it's 13 minutes. You have to have simplicity, and yeah, it did it fine. It did it great. I wish Disney would do more of these. Honestly.
Yeah, I feel like they need to do more movies based around Mickey actually being relatable to his audience. Whether it be for adults, for kids, something, you know? Like, you know, they need to do more with him. That's not just comedy-based. I like that they're taking him in a comedy route, like, for the newer stuff, but I also think they need to also bring in more of the relatability with him, which is, I'm glad they did in this. Mm-hmm. So, let's give a rating for this last one, and then we'll rate the entire anthology overall. Mm-hmm. So, what do you give the Mickey and Minnie?
8 out of 10.
You give it 8 out of 10? Mm-hmm. I actually give it an 8.5. Like, it's the best one of the 3. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, and then what do you give the entire anthology overall? Because for me, I would probably give it, like, a 7.5 out of 10. The only thing that's saving this is pretty much the Mickey and the Goofy one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if they didn't have those two, I feel like this one would have been kind of boring. So...
I would still find it okay.
So what do you give the entire anthology?
I give it the whole thing all together, I give it a 7 out of 10.
You give it a 7 out of 10. Would you watch the whole thing again? Because I would.
Yes.
And I'm glad you liked it, because this is one I used to watch all the time as a kid. So that makes me happy. But anyway, guys, that's the end of our podcast for tonight. So... It's basically the last Christmas Palooza one we're planning on doing, but if we decide to do any bonus videos, we will. I don't know if they're going to necessarily be for the Christmas Palooza, or if we're just going to do, like, random stuff here and there. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. And besides that, be on the lookout for our last main video of the year, which we plan on doing right after Christmas. We're going to basically do that, and then we might do some more bonuses, but that's pretty much the last video of the year.
Bonus videos.
Whatever. That's going to be the end of the year podcast is our last video of the year.
Okay.
And then onward to 2022, and basically we'll be talking about our plans for 2022 regarding the channel and just in general. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'm Mari.
I'm Jay.
And we're out.